Hi, I'm Bill Cook from Greenlee County Cooperative Extension in Duncan, Arizona. Today we're going to talk a little bit about pruning. In particular, we want to make this tree quite a bit smaller. A lot of people would use a hedge shear at a time like that, or just indiscriminately just start bobbing off ends, and that would work. That would make it smaller, except for that would create problems down the road. Because everywhere you cut it, that's where it's going to start growing again. So if we cut it here on the end, it's going to start growing right there on the end. And it'll probably branch. And if we do the same thing again, we wind up with a lot of branching. And eventually the canopy gets so dense that the inside dies out. Then when you come back to trim it, there's really nothing to trim to. It's all brown and dead inside. So what we're doing here is we're going for a more natural look and something that's a little healthier for the plant because we're using sharp, well-adjusted tools and we're making carefully thought out cuts. So to make this tree smaller, you can see it's pretty wide. Say, for example, I want this or this to be back in here. So what I can do is I can go back inside the plant. I can cut to an individual branch. So what I'm doing is I'm creating a new end of the branch. This piece that I have just cut to is now the end, and it will continue to grow as normal. So I will come right there and I will cut to that. This is now the end of the branch and the plant will continue to grow normally, and this allows light in and it will be green and full, meaning that when this gets too long, I will have something green to cut back to. So we're just going to come along through here and we're going to just kind of eyeball about where we want the outside to be, and we're just going to take nice big cuts. So again, we've just made this branch shorter. This one needs to come back quite a bit, so we're going to actually come, let me get a better tool. Okay, so here's a good sized limb that's bigger than we want it to be. It's a little bigger than I'm comfortable with the hand clippers. So I'm going to come right back in here and I am going to cut it right there and make this the new end. And really, that's a little longer than I would like it to be. So we're going to do that again. We're going to come down a notch and we're going to cut that. So this is now effectively the new end of the limb. So you just kind of go along. Pick any little side shoot will assume responsibility like that, and we just go around the tree and we step back every once in a while and look at it. See, there's a big one comes out, there's the new end. So you can see we're kind of sculpting this tree. So we come around, we come in here, we take out that. So what we're doing is we're just taking out the long pieces and we're leaving something to be the new end of the limb, as opposed to just indiscriminately whacking, as would be the case with something like a hedge shear. So as we go, you can kind of see we're cutting off the long pieces and we're choosing something within that tree we visualized to become the new end of the limb. From here you can see how we're starting to get that rounded side. At it, you can also take care of things like crossed limbs, broken limbs. It's a good chance just to look at the entire tree. If you do this in the spring, it'll grow out and fill in a lot quicker. I kind of like doing this in the fall because it tends to last, the pruning tends to last longer. And when you're making a cut, when you choose something to cut back to, that's the direction it's going to grow. That's another little handy hint. See, here's a pretty big one we're going to cut. But if you look, there's something coming in right behind it. So we're not too concerned about leaving a big hole here by removing something of this size, because there's plenty of tree to come fill in. So I'm just going to take that big one plumb out of there, and see, you'd never miss it. One little handy hint, as you're approaching the other side of the tree where you've already pruned, step back a little and kind of make sure things are going to line up. Here's where we kind of came around the other side, so we're going to kind of even this out as we go. Made another pretty big cut, but there was plenty there to fill it in. Not familiar with orchard ladders. If you're doing very much tree trimming from a ladder, this is really the hot ticket. It's an orchard ladder. It's got 3 legs. They're fairly wide, and it's a lot sturdier being 3 legs. It's a lot sturdier on uneven ground, and there's the benefit that you can put the tongue into the tree in order to get closer. Sometimes you can just take out an entire limb, because there's all kinds of little stuff inside to take its place. If you're really wanting this to come out symmetric, like a Christmas tree or something, a lot of step back and look. Hasn't hurt a thing. I think we're getting to a point here we're going to need to select a new top. And any one of these that we pick out can be the new top. So I'm going to step back and look at it again, figure out where I want the top to be. This is going to be the new top. That is starting to look pretty good. So, a very wise man many years ago teaching me to prune trees when I was a whippersnapper told me rule number 1, know where to start and when to stop. I know I can keep looking back and seeing something and go back for one more clip, but rule number 1, when to stop. So we're calling that good. You can see we've given it some nice shape. We've let some sun in. We've reduced the size to something we can live with. And it'll still work for a Christmas tree. So there you have it. How to make a plant smaller without hedge shearing.